Hello there, everybody. It is Duff Designs, and I'm doing another course overview today over Apex Hound CC. This was a course that I made probably not quite a year ago, but probably 6, 7 months ago. This course was named after the Apex Hound on YouTube. Uh, he did end up playing it in one of his videos, and I'm just going to do a quick little overview of everything on the course today. Gonna start with just kind of the surrounding scenery. There really wasn't much that I did in terms of surrounding scenery before I built the course. I kind of just started on the course and I built the scenery around the holes. So there are a few holes like this one where you've got rocks, a little like sheeped in area, just kind of around. I added a few little semi towns up here, nothing super fancy, nothing super crazy. Uh, and just a little bit of rock work around the course. It's got a lot of beautiful falls on some of the holes out here. Let me go into F10 mode for now. And just going around the course, you can see that there's a lot of rock work on just about every hole. Uh, got some there. Got a big one up here, big overhanging rock. And that's pretty much all I did here was rocks. Uh, Got a little tiny city over here, which only comes into view on, I think, two holes. I think it's just these two coming this way, and maybe at the end of this one. This city isn't really that visible. And then, of course, we got another little area right here, and a little like, I don't really know what to call it. I guess a finishing house. It's not really a halfway house since it's after 18, but it's just a little nice view coming into 18 with that back there. And of course, we got our little clubhouse here uh, with our little putting chipping area. All this is OB right on the edge of the first hole, so it is quite scary. And little basic driving range with a little basic entryway and roads kind of leading around to the towns and out of the map. Alright, so it's time to get down to the first hole down here. I'm going to go off F10, and so you guys can see all the yardages. Uh, I reckon this will be the best one to use. I don't know. I think I'll leave the yardage totals up here unless it gets in the way too much. But here's hole number one. Uh, this course was made originally in 2K21. So when the new game came out, I had to update a few holes and change a couple things around. As you know, everybody can hit the ball further in the new game, so I had to bump a couple tees back. This was one of those tees I did bump back a little bit. Not very far, but just a tad bit. You can still clear these bunkers with a nice drive pretty easy. It's 310 over this as long as the wind's not in your face. Very simple first little shot, but I think it's very nice looking. It punishes a fade very harsh with this out of bounds being right here on the edge. Other than that, got some nice little shrubbery up by the green. Simple little two-tiered green here with two little nice bunkers in front. Lake doesn't really come into play here, but it is a nice little visual as you're coming up. Hole number two, one of the more visually stunning holes in the course. It is got the sun directly in your face, adding a lot of glare. But this hole's got this huge, nice little cliff area over here with a big retaining wall right in the front. And this green is these, I think it's the most severely sloped green on the whole course with this right here. It's got a huge catch for this front area, and it really makes you a little scared to play to these two pin positions right here because you do have to just barely carry it over this, and you're hitting a little bit of a longer club in this one from the back tees, like a 7 iron. Bunkering is very simple on this one. I just wanted something that looked nice. The only bunker you'll ever end up really finding yourself in is this one over here because of the way the pins are. I don't think I've ever been in either one of these. You'd have to hit a pretty bad shot, at least fast it pretty bad. Coming up here to hole number three. Hole number three's got one of those little Easter eggs that I add in every now and again. Got a little sheep cave, sheep in the cave. Got a little rockway for him to walk up. Little waterfall there. And this one is a blind bunker down here. So if you don't get a view out here, there's a good chance you'll hit it right in this bunker because it's right on the line that people would want to cut the hole right here. And if you hit it perfect, it's going to go right in the bunker. Now, some of the longer drivers can hit it here, but the big thing is about this hole is you need to be playing a draw into this fairway because if not, your ball's almost surely going to run through the fairway and onto this light rough or across the path into the heavy. And when you're over here, the further you are down here, the more impossible it makes your second shot getting to the green. And it makes it even worse because you'll have to lay up to here instead of laying up to here like a lot of players like to do. A lot of players will go for this green. This is a very eagleable hole as long as you hit the fairway on your drive. Got a big cup here for these front two pin positions and just the other two scattered out here on the edge. Again, simple but nice bunkering on this hole. Nothing super fancy. You will find yourself in all of these bunkers on this hole. You do have to be very careful. I've been in both of these in the front a lot and then this one in the back a couple times. Number four, it's one of the simpler, yet it's still one of my favorite holes in the courses. It's definitely my favorite par three on this course. Uh, we've got these simple little three bunkers back here in the back with the rocks caressing them. Simple little sloping back here. You can kind of see it on the green a little bit. And one little bunker kind of posted up down here right on the edge of the lake and got a lot of little grass caressing the whole lake edge. This green, it's just fun to play too. These two front pin positions, they're short enough to where you can get a ball to bite if you land right on the front right here. And this back pin position right here is so much fun to play too off of this slope. You can either land it short or play it off the slope. There's just this is just a very fun little hole for me. I have seen someone somehow manage to hit a ball back here and get really screwed. But other than that, I think this is a very well designed hole. And then following up right here to the next tee box at number five, this is another very challenging hole. Actually, it's probably the most challenging one so far on the course. This one, you're teeing off to a little area with bunkers kind of scattered all around. They seem scattered, but at the same time, they're very strategical. This one's blocking off the corner. This one's blocking your long drivers. The best drive, of course, is to hit a little fade down through here, but that fade always brings in those two bunkers. And this one right here punishes those who hit the red fast. Uh, I haven't really seen anyone in this one, but I'm sure from some of the closer tees you could very easily get in it. It's more of a visual bunker than actual placed one. Coming up to the green, got a little funnier bunker here. This is probably the oddest looking bunker on the course, but I do think it does a very nice job. It sweeps all the way down here from the bottom, sweeps up the right side of the green all the way up, and has this little bitty circle in the middle with a little bit of grass on it. Just a lot of character in that bunker. Now this green right here, I will have to say, isn't my favorite green on the course, but I do think it does its job very nice. It catches the balls. It's got plenty of areas to land in. It's just not my favorite green design that I've had, but I do still like it. Uh, a lot of times what people will end up missing on this hole is people will end up going way back here off this little back edge into that fairway. I did add a small little hump here to try to help people from that, but it did slope off the edge right here pretty steeply. This is also the hole with the beautiful little enclosure with all the sheep and stuff that I added in here. Not something that takes a lot of time to do, but something that visually is very stunning, especially now that you can do fences with spline. As you can see, all these fences were placed in the old version where you had to individually place all the fence. Let me grab a drink real quick. All right, number six here. This is one of my favorite short par fours that I've made. It's a quite the short hole, especially with this new game. Your drives in the old game would land about right here at this choke point. You can now hit your drives down here, but it's still a very scary shot to hit your drives down here. I haven't had anyone get on the green yet. I'm sure there is a way that you could sneak one up on there, but it's just this green is so repelling on this edge and also not accepting very much on this edge. It would take someone to smash a drive down to here to get up on the green, I believe. But this is a very scary hole. I've seen plenty of people go in the water. I've seen a couple people hit the bulkheads Usually, if you hit a bulkhead, you're actually safe. It'll bounce you pretty far forward. This bunker right here swallows up a lot of players, and it's not a super hard bunker shot, but if you're going to these pins right here, it's a doozy. This is a very small and curving green. A lot of character into this little tiny green here. I do really enjoy this little short hole. And now we're coming up to number seven. Number seven, I just worked on the tree work a little bit to kind of scare the players into making them play slightly different shots because the tee shot was a little bit basic. It was just land it in this zone, hit it straight. It was one of those non-thinkers. The only thing that was special here is there's a little hump right here in the middle of the fairway, which I did do a little bit of work in, trying to flatten it down, bring it down a little bit. But otherwise, very simple shot coming into the fairway. The green is just like the last green, really small green, a lot of character in it. Back pin's my favorite pin to play too. Front lefts are the easiest ones, and this one's also a very nice one. Got a little bit of rock work here, a lot of grass work in the back. Uh, Very fun little course to play. Oh yes, and I just remembered on 2K21, not in 2K23, I have a tough pin version of this course where all the pins are on slopes like this. Uh it's a fun little mini game. If you want to give it a try, go ahead. It makes the holes very interesting. The pins would be on like slopes like this. And just scoring is almost impossible. All right, back to the course. All right, coming up here to number eight. This is another shorter par four. This one also can get a lot of people in trouble very quick. Anything hard right or hard left is going to get you into a lot of trouble. I've seen people end up on this little cart pathway just because I added this little lip right here. People get lucky enough to not roll off and just kind of bounce around in here. But if you do miss too much, you can end up all the way down here in the water, which I'm not exactly sure where you would have to drop. I think you might have to re-tee or it might drop you down here. But I've seen a couple people end up in that water. Uh, in terms of the green, it is very slopey, but the pins are in some larger flat areas. The only harder pins are these two since they are on yellows. It didn't matter too much in 2K21 with the green speed, but now in this new game, it is very difficult if you're above the pin. If you're going to these two pins, you need to be below the pin, which is harder said than done. But it is a very short hole, nothing super special here. I do see a lot of players actually take it over the trees down to this little area over here to the left of the green, which gives you a straight in shot to the green. Uh, Number nine, yet again, another shorter par four here. This one bottlenecks up right here in your landing zone. A lot of the stronger players can't actually get just up to the front edge of the green now. It's got a few little catch areas right here and right over here. Uh, Two simple bunkers. This is a very easy. This is a very birdieable hole. This is one of the most birdieable holes in the course. I do really enjoy the simpleness of this hole. I liked the way that these rocks are over here are done, how I placed them up and got the grass just on the low edge of them. It's a very simple but very elegant little look to these. Coming up at the hole number 10, this is probably my least favorite bunker on the course. I wanted to do something else here, but I'm not really sure what I should have done. But it's been this way for so long that I've just left it and decided to be okay with it. It is a wild big bunker going all over the place. It does eat up shots if you miss, but this fairway being as wide as it is, and now that players are smacking the ball all the way down here, almost past all of it. The longest players can still, if they hit a bad shot, land in this bunker. But in terms of everyone else who's hitting shorter than that, these bunkers are very much in play. Your second shot coming into the green, even the longest shots, the longest drives off the tee are going to have a tough time getting on this green. If you hit in the old game, if you hit a perfect drive and then a perfect second shot, you would be landing right here. The guys in this game will probably be landing somewhere closer to the green now. But still, it takes some absolutely smashed perfect shots to get that far. Most people are going to end up laying up into this big front area right here. I almost never see anyone come up to this little top fairway, which is understandable. It is kind of out of the way, but I do think it still plays a nice little purpose in giving you a raised position above the hole. This one did take a lot of time to do this whole entire retaining wall, considering how big it is. But I do think it came out very nice combined with the other retaining wall and the whole lake system here. Do have a little drain that no one really notices that's coming out right here from another waterway coming up from up here. And of course we got the huge one up here. And now coming on down here to number 11. This was a par 4 that was converted into a par 5. Does make the course a little bit easier, but I felt like leaving it as a par 5 with the tees back here was just not acceptable. I had the tees all up here, but I decided to bump them back just because this view from back here is so much better than it is from up here, that I just had to do it. But in terms of this hole, you can get there in two pretty easy as long as you hit a decent drive. You'll have a little bit of a you'll have a 3 wood, 3 hybrid into the green, but it's nothing super scary. Uh, Off the tee, you're going to be landing in this huge area. Unless you're killing the ball, you don't have to worry about these two bunkers. I have had a lot of people end up in here, and I've had one or two people end up over here for bad shots. But for the most part, this is a very scoreable par 5. Coming on down here to hole number 12. Hole number 12 is a whole different story. Nowhere near as easy, especially if you're playing to either one of these two pin positions here. Got this huge mound on the back of the green, which almost splits the green in two. So any shots coming in here to these pins is either going to get shot off this way, which most shots do because it all slopes this way, or they'll get up here and roll off over here. They'll still hold the green, but you're going to have a hard shot coming in from over here, and it's going to be a par from over here, but it's still going to be a pretty hard little birdie putt. Uh, Bunkering was very simple here. I do really enjoy all the retaining walls that I have set up all around this little lake here. Kind of reminds me of lungs in a weird way. I don't know why. I guess because they do look like it. But coming up here to number 13, this is another hole that I redesigned. This one had the most penile bunker on the entire course. There was a big rock right here, a bunker on this side and a bunker on this side. If you landed in this bunker, you could not go over this rock. You would have to be forced to lay up over here. I felt like it was a little bit too punishing because a lot of people didn't realize how punishing it was before they hit into it. So a lot of players would just hit into it thinking it was a regular bunker, and now they're completely screwed and they have to lay up. There's nothing they can do. So I made it a little bit easier. I just added these little cluster circular bunkers here. I think it looks very nice. It's not the best thing I could have done here, but I do like it. Got this other big bunker right here. I like this one. Catches a lot of slow shots. Coming up to the green, this is another one of those kind of smaller style greens. It isn't small, but it's got almost two greens tacked on to each other right here. With a big bunker, or not a big bunker, a little bunker right here splitting the two, and the big bunker back here caressing this bigger green. So both sides of the green are just as difficult. My favorite pin position on this green is right here. I feel like there's a lot of character, a lot of things you can do with this. Got to be careful not to miss it here. Got this big old hill you can play it off of. Got to be careful of the bunker. All right, let me get one more drink. All right, hole number 14. Uh, this is a very interesting hole, considering with how many fairways there are on this hole, and how just how it's set up. I don't know. It's a very interesting beast to come up to. You have to pipe one right down the middle off the drive. The longest drivers can make it down to here if they crush one. You can very easily get there in two if you kill your drive. In terms of missing it, a lot of players will miss this hole. A lot of players will land it in this bunker, hit these rocks, land in this bunker. I've even seen a couple players end up over here, like completely miss it. And this is a dead zone over here. It's forced layup to almost nowhere. There's almost nowhere to lay up from if you're over here. Uh, Got this little island fairway with this little bunker right here. Got another layup zone right here, right below the green, and of course got the main little bit of fairway over here to lay up to. Uh, Bunker is, I believe, yeah, this is one big bunker that is just separated by a big rock. I think it looks very nice. Something that I've never really seen before, a bunker split like that, but I do really like it. Uh, Simple bunker in the back, and in terms of the green, it's nothing super special. Any shots coming in from deep, you can land them in right here and roll them up to this top pin. Because landing anything right here is very scary, because if it doesn't bite, it's going to roll off the back of the green, because this is a very, very soft edge over here. Everything's just going to roll all the way back. Coming up here to number 15. 15 was one of those holes that I slightly messed up on in the first version. I had the fairway coming down to about right here. I bet we can actually see where the spline point is. Yeah, that was the tip of the old fairway, which if we look how far that is, that was about 240 from our original tee boxes right here. Uh, it was just, if the wind was directly in your face full, you couldn't make it to the fairway. It just wasn't possible. So I had to bump it back in the new version, which I think looks nice. Got the singular bunker right here, kind of add a little bit more character. But the longest drivers are still playing the hole just how it was intended, with this big old finger right here, forcing you out this way or over. Very scary. A lot of players are going to end up over here. I've seen it happen so many times. People end up in these bushes or up here by the cart path. The green here isn't any easier. You've got this big old slope over here. These are the two main pin positions that people play to. Got this big slope coming off the edge, got this big catching one, but it's just so many people are going to end up down here in the fairway or in this bunker right here. Front two pins, a whole lot easier, but in terms of the fun ones, the 1 and 4 pin position, they're both tucked back here. 16 is my favorite short par 4 in the course. Probably one of my favorite short par 4s I've ever made. It's a very simple hole with a bunker here, bunker here, bunker here, bunker here. Got the two guarding the green, one guarding the landing area, and one kind of visually guarding the green, as well as shorter layups. Uh, Everybody takes a driver out on hole. This is just the driver hole. If you land a shot right here, which is where most people's drives are going to land, if you hit it straight, it's going to land, roll up to about right here in the middle of the green. Perfect shot. If you slightly mess up, you're going to be in one of these bunkers, or you're going to be missing all the way down here, which makes it even a challenge to get par sometimes, because this green is a little tricky if you're chipping up from it from backwards from the other side of the green. Uh, Now coming on here to number 17. 17 is a kind of a tricky hole. A lot of players are going to end up in the water over here. A lot of players get scared of this bunker because it's right in your landing area, and they're going to end up hitting it over here. I've done it. A lot of other players have done it. A lot of players are going to end up in this bunker too, but the thing is about this hole, even the best tee shots, you're not going to get there in two. You can smash it. You have to smash it all the way down to about here, 380 yards. If you got wind behind you, yeah, you can do it. But in terms of most players, you're not going to be getting all the way down to here to be able to make it to the green. And even then, if you are going for it, unless it's this pin position back here, you're not going to be able to stop that ball fast enough on this green. Coming up to this green, I went with simple two hills here with two little trees on both hills to kind of add like a funnel. Uh, I've got this really cool kind of like swerving design right here with 4 or 5 bunkers right here kind of placed. I don't know. I just really like the look and how this plays because you have to hit it straight up the middle. The only way you're going to end up on these fingers is if you mess up and get lucky. In terms of coming up to the green, it's best for a shorter, like chip shot or a full wedge because these little catch areas are kind of smaller. But it is a very, very birdieable hole. People always end up pulling through with birdies on this one. Coming on to hole number 18. Hole number 18, I do really like this par 3. It is a long green with 2 bunkers over here on the left side. Got a big little tree here with some rocks around it and 2 big slopes coming off these 2 mounds that are letting shots roll back in. The whole green slopes from right to left towards these bunkers, so anything kind of missed over here can go into the bunkers. Not a lot of people end up over there because it is a shorter hole. It's only about 150. It takes a pretty bad shot to end up all the way over here. I've never seen anyone over here all the way into this fairway, but it is a very, very hard spot to chip back to any of these pins from just because of how the green is. I think that's pretty much everything on this course. If you want to give the course a try, of course the name is Apex Hound CC. Uh, I'm going to be doing another course review probably today or tomorrow on Stonehenge number 3, another one of my favorite courses that I've made. Uh, and I think that's it, guys. I will talk to you guys next time. Bye.